Do you want to change your life, or do you want to change you? I think that's probably what Shakespeare meant when he said, to be or not to be. That is the question. Or maybe not. So you want to change your life. Well, that presupposes that you're either not satisfied with something specific in your life, or you're not satisfied with your life in general. And actually, this is not a bad place to be. It might not feel so good. A lot of people might not think it's a good place to be. But if you're aware of it, if you're aware that you're unsatisfied with your life, now you know that it's time to do something about it. A lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people blame other people, they project it onto other people, so they're not really aware that they're very unsatisfied with life, unless they're unsatisfied with life and they know it, but they think it's everybody else's fault, which is not going to help you very well or very much. But if you're unsatisfied with your life and you know that it depends on you doing something about it, this is actually a really good place to be, and you found the right video. What happens for a lot of people is they do know that they're unsatisfied, they blame it on other people, or they blame it on circumstances they can't change, and then they become bitter, and then this all sort of slips into unconsciousness, and that is a really bad place to be, because then it just becomes a really big limiting belief. I'm unhappy with my life and there's nothing I can do about it, and then I'm angry at the world, I'm angry at other people, I blame everyone else. That's not where you want to be. And if that's where you are starting at, well, the first step then is to say, okay, it's your life. Or you could say it's my life and I'm responsible for it. So therefore, if I'm unhappy with it, it's really up to me to change something. Does it mean that I change something in my environment? Do I change my job? Do I change habits? Or do I change my attitude? You have to first accept that this is up to you, that you need to do something about this. No one else is going to do it. Now, before I get into this, if you find yourself liking this video, make sure you click the like button right down here. And if you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell so you'll be notified when I put new videos out. And also, I have got a really good freebie that I'm giving away if you are a little impatient and you want to get straight to it. In the description right here down below, also you'll see that there's a link, and I will talk more about what that is later in the video. And if you're wondering, if you watch my videos on a regular basis, you might notice that I'm in a different location. I am in Signagi, Georgia. It's a very beautiful country. It's a very beautiful town. I'll be traveling here for a while. Just got back from Greece. So I'm going to give you 3 things that you should definitely not be doing, and then 3 things that you should do if you want to change your life. The first thing, you need to get clear about what it is you want and who it is you want to be. Without this very crucial first step, you don't have a direction to go in. A lot of people want to change, but they don't know what they want to change into as a person, or if you're just wanting to change your life, what is the life that you want? It amazes me so often how when people come to me for coaching, or even some of the trainings that I do, they say, I want to change things up. I want to change things. And I'm like, okay, so what do you want to change things to be like? Sometimes they just won't know, or sometimes it's so vague. It's like, well, yeah, that's kind of like what everybody wants in the world. Everybody wants to be happy, but like, what is going to do it for you? What is happy for you? What would your life need to be like? Who would you need to be like? Now, the other piece to this is it requires action. You can certainly do some stuff on paper to better understand what you want. What I mean by paper is like writing about it, like asking yourself some questions or journaling about it. I'm a big fan of journaling. It's wonderful. It helps you organize your thoughts, but you will never totally get clear about what it is you want, who you want to be, what you want your life to be, without taking action. So you need to get clear about what it is you want in your life. It will require action. This is the part where most people are afraid. They don't want to take the risk. But here's the big risk. The big risk you're taking by not doing this, by not getting clarity, by not taking action, is living your entire life unhappy, unfulfilled, unsatisfied. That is a far greater risk than putting yourself out there a little bit, taking a few risks. You're not going to ruin your life unless you do something really dangerous, which most of the time changing your life the way that you want it to be does not require you doing anything dangerous or anything that would, put you in jail or make you lose all of your money. So those fears are not as founded in reality as you might think that they are. So you've got to take action to get clear about what it is you want. You've got to know if something works out for you or not. People have lots of ideas about what they want to do, but oftentimes they have no idea if they even enjoy that thing, and they may romanticize it. They may see other people doing it, and they think, wow, I really want to do that, and then they go and try it finally, and they go, wow, I really don't want to do that. And some people get disappointed by that, and they don't try other things. They might think, nothing else is going to work for me, and it's like, no, you found one thing that doesn't work for you, you found one thing that you don't like, go try another, and just keep doing this. And the more you do this, the more clarity you will have, the more clear you will be about who you want to be and what it is that you want. So you have to take action. Write stuff down, that's great, but definitely take action. Number 2, accept that changing your life requires changing who you are. A lot of times, people want to sort of change the world around them. They want everybody else to do something different. They want the world to do something different, and they want to remain the same. It doesn't work this way. You need to change too. You want your life to change, you have to change. So there's no way of getting around that. I've tried many times, and I've worked with many people who that was their strategy. It's a failing strategy. It won't work. The world won't change for you. You're the one who needs to change. And that's going to be different for everybody depending on what it is that you want. But in order to get the change that you want in your life, it requires that you change. Just no other way of going about it. And here's the truth. Change isn't really hard. It's not. If you know what you're doing, changing yourself, changing who you are, is really not that hard. The thing that gets hard for most people is they resist changing themselves. Even when they take on a new endeavor, they try this new thing and it's sort of like very externally focused, and then they get to a point where they realize they're going to have to change. And it's resistance to change that it makes things hard. But really, if you just accept it and you stop resisting, change isn't that hard. If you think about any great story, any great movie that you watch, the hero is always resistant to change, but as soon as the hero gives into it, as soon as the hero accepts that their life is going to change, that they have to change, and their life will change. Then you see that those are those pivotal moments in a story where the character arc happens, and then eventually the character might not get what he or she ultimately wanted in the beginning, but then they get what they need. Like, that's a very typical hero's journey, and that's why we're compelled by these stories. That's why we watch these stories, because that is what it's about. We usually resist change, but finally when we accept it, then we're able to get to that success that we've been looking for. Then we're able to get the life that we want. Now this next one, number 3, is something I'd already known and had already been working for me really well, but I finally just asked my business partner, Nate Moore, very successful guy, and has worked with some of the most successful people, names you have heard of, put it that way. And I said, well, when you've worked with a lot of successful people, what is it about these people that they all have in common? Like, what's one single thing that you've noticed in all of these people? And he says they all have a bias toward action. And I was like, yes, that has worked for me so well in my life. There will be times where you don't know what to do. There will be times when you don't know what you want. Always err on the side of taking action rather than not taking action. When you take action, that's when things start happening. So when in doubt, take action. Always have a bias toward action. Do something. Get out there, do something. And your life can't not change when you have a bias toward action. So cultivate that bias towards action. You can cultivate it just like you cultivate any habit. So again, when you're thinking and you're confused, most people, when they're confused or things seem chaotic, that's when they take no action. That's not the time that you don't want to take action. Sure, sometimes you have to be patient. Sure, sometimes you need to learn something about what you're doing before you do it. You don't want to be hasty. You don't want to take risks that aren't necessary, but you can take small steps. You can always take small steps that won't get you into trouble, won't risk much. So when in doubt, when you're confused, when you're not sure what to do next, take a small action. You'd be so surprised how well this works, and then really cultivate that as a habit. Cultivate a bias toward action. Now for the 3 things you need to stop doing if you want to change your life. The first one is you're waiting. And you need to stop waiting. I have a lot of experience with this, and again, working with clients, same thing. I come across people so often, they're waiting for something. They don't even know what it is, but this gets expressed in many different ways. They're waiting for someone else to do something. They're waiting for the economy to get better. They're waiting for them to get a job promotion. There's always this waiting. This is kind of like a bias, a waiting bias. While you're waiting, that's life is happening. Life is not slowing down. Life is not waiting for you. If you're waiting, what I often say, it's a little bit morbid, I say if you're waiting, you're dying. We're all dying. Every single day we're getting closer to our death, right? But if you're waiting, then you're only dying. You're not living. So get out there and live, like do things. Don't wait for someone else. Don't wait for something, especially things that you have no control over. That's the worst. Sometimes you have to wait and be patient for certain things to happen. That is true. But if you check in with yourself and be really honest with yourself, are you waiting for something? Are you waiting for something to just happen? Are you waiting for things to just get better, whatever that means? If so, it's time to do something different. Stop waiting, start doing, start living. Then your life will change. But if you're waiting, then you're stuck. And of course you're going to be unsatisfied if you're waiting for something. And when you're waiting for things that you don't control, you're at the mercy of those things, and that's not a place you want to be. And that's usually why people feel so unsatisfied with life. I often take a lot of criticism for this second one, and that is you're hoping. A lot of times when I listen to people's values, which is a very important thing to do to get clear about what it is you want, a lot of times people will use hope as a value, and I'm like, no. If you're relying on hope, then you might as well say it's because you're feeling hopeless. You only want hope when you're feeling hopeless. The idea here is to step out of that duality of hope and hopelessness. Hope is very similar to waiting. Hope is, I don't know what to do. I don't think I can do it. So I'm hoping it'll work out. I'm hoping all the things will work out in my favor. I'm hoping to change my life. I'm hoping to be happy someday. I'm hoping to make a lot of money. I'm hoping to get a job promotion. That puts you in a state of inaction. That puts you in a state of waiting, because you're basically hoping that someone gives it to you, or that the world gives it to you, the universe gives it to you. Again, this is a place of scarcity. This is a place of inaction. This is a place of fear. And it's also a place of dependence and reliance on things that you don't have control over. You want to be self-reliant. So don't depend on hope. If you think that you're hoping, or you're feeling like you're hoping, or you can even catch it in your language a lot of times saying, well, I hope this, or I hope this works out, or stop yourself and then say, okay, what's a better way to phrase this? What's a better way to think about it? Rather than hope, what would put me back in control here? What would put me at cause here rather than effect? Stop hoping. Hoping is hopeless. And the third one here is one that, again, I've dealt with a lot earlier in my life. I feel like I've completely resolved it now. I bump into it all the time when I'm coaching people. It's a feeling of not being worthy. Like you don't know quite yet if you're worthy of the life that you want to live. You're not quite sure if you're even worthy of being the person that you want to be. This one can take some time to work out, because the feeling is very real. I know the feeling is very real, but it's not true. There is nothing out there that can measure your worth. There is no objective scale that can measure your worth. There is no other person who can measure your worth. They don't know what's going on the inside of you, and you can't jump out on the outside and know how they're experiencing you. So it's completely subjective, and the truth is that it's not real. Being worthy or being unworthy, it's not real. Now, this can be a little bit of a doozy to deal with. What I can tell you, though, to get over this kind of temporarily, is to act as if. Live your life as if there is no such thing as worthiness or unworthiness. Okay, so we had some technical difficulty, and this usually does happen when I travel. The reason why that video just ended so abruptly was because the memory card that I used got corrupted and didn't fully upload. So I'm continuing this video from a different location, obviously, and actually I am in a cave city here in Georgia, in Gorey, Georgia. This is a 3,000-year-old wine cellar in an ancient city that was built into the side of a hill. So I'm going to probably talk more about this in a future vlog. So I'm going to get back to the topic of this video right now, which is I was ending it with self-worth. Self-worth is usually a big problem that people deal with, and it does take some time to overcome, but you absolutely can. Act as if there is no such thing as self-worth. Don't try to build your self-worth. Don't give meaning or energy. Don't feed this idea of self-worth in either direction. Act as if there is no such thing as self-worth, and this will pay off big time. Now, if you want to know how to overcome that whole issue altogether, so that's not even a question for you, you just do. That's what true confidence is, by the way. You just do. You don't think, oh, well, I'm good enough, or you don't hear trumpets every time you do something. It's not a big deal. You just do it. You succeed because you just do those things to succeed. If you do want to overcome this problem of self-worth entirely, I have lots of tools to do that. And the idea is to get beyond it so that it's not like you have to build your confidence. It's not like you have to feed this whole thing and pump it up, and that stuff doesn't work. But there is a way to overcome this, and that is just to not even have a sense of worth at all, because you just are an existing person who just does, and you succeed because you just do, and you do the things that are successful because you just do. It's not a matter of, do I have enough self-worth to do it? If you want more information about this, like I said, in the description below, there is a link there, and there is a free series of videos that will help you start on working on this issue. And also, not just the self-worth issue, but if you want to get this thing going and you want to start changing your life and start transforming it, click that link. You will get access to those videos absolutely for free, and start working on that right now. So if you like this video, make sure you click that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel by clicking that subscribe button and the bell so you'll be notified when I put new videos out. And last but not least, if you can think of a friend or a family member who could benefit from watching this video, make sure you share it with them. Take care.